8 special powers unique to those chosen by heaven and Buddha, fulfilling a noble mission. Welcome back, everyone, to Mind Podcast. In the vast realm of the human world, amid all its busyness and upheavals, there appear certain individuals who seem to live not for themselves alone. They carry within them a strange light, a silent power that no one can fully explain. According to ancient philosophy and spiritual tradition, these are the people chosen by heaven and Buddha. They do not come from wealth or power, but often emerge quietly in the flow of life like rough gems waiting to be revealed. Yet within them dwell special abilities and extraordinary qualities which, once awakened, become a guiding torch for all humanity. These powers are not gifts for personal gratification, but sacred tools to fulfill a noble mission, to heal, to lead, and to help others find themselves again. You may have met someone like this, or perhaps you yourself harbor these potentials, waiting for the day of awakening. As the ancients said, when the universe selects a soul, it places upon that soul a burden, but also grants it wings. Those wings are the supernormal abilities hidden deep in the spirit like a faint light beneath layers of darkness. To understand them more fully, let us explore the 8 special powers that those chosen by heaven and Buddha always carry. Each power is not only a mark of this sacred selection, but also a key to unlocking the path toward enlightenment and serving all beings. 1. Exceptionally acute intuition. The ancients said, "One with the eye of wisdom needs no lamp to see the way." Exceptionally acute intuition is among the most sacred marks that those chosen by heaven and Buddha always bear. It is not random guessing or a vague sense, but a miraculous flash in inner light from the depths of wisdom that allows them to see the true nature of things even when all appears shrouded in darkness. This intuition cannot be learned from books, nor is it the result of logical analysis. It is a deep connection with the universal mind, with layers of energy that ordinary people cannot easily perceive. Those with supernormal intuition rarely need lengthy explanations or proof. They simply know, naturally and clearly. They can sense danger approaching like a cold wind brushing past, detect unease in another's gaze, or even foresee the outcome of an event before others have the slightest inkling. This intuition serves as their compass, guiding them to sound decisions even under the most trying circumstances. An ancient tale recalls a great general in wartime. He was famed not only for his military strategy, but also for his ability to sense imminent threats. In a critical battle, when his army was eager to press forward, he suddenly ordered a retreat to a safer position. Despite fierce opposition from his fellow commanders, he insisted, and just hours later, a massive enemy ambush fell upon the very ground they had planned to occupy. Had it not been for the general's acute intuition, his entire force would have been trapped and likely annihilated. Reflecting on that moment, he said only, "I cannot explain how, but I felt it in the unnatural silence of the sky." This story teaches us that supernormal intuition does not arise from luck, but from careful listening and harmony with nature. Through years of experience, the general honed his ability to connect deeply with his surroundings, enabling him to perceive the slightest shifts. In Buddhism, this intuition is called insight wisdom panna, the clear eye of the spirit. The Buddha himself taught, "Those who listen to the voice within will never go astray." A story in the Buddhist scriptures tells of a young disciple named Ananda. One day, on his way back to the monastery, he felt an unusual sense of unease. Though he knew the path well, his intuition urged him to stop and take an alternate route. Trusting this inner voice, Ananda did so and later learned that a nest of venomous snakes had appeared on his usual path. Had he ignored his intuition, he would have faced grave danger. When the Buddha heard of this, he told the assembly, "The wise are those who heed intuition, for it is the voice of the mind connected to the cosmos. Those who reject intuition turn their backs on their own innate wisdom." Supernormal intuition not only helps one avoid peril, but also reveals truth in ambiguous situations. Those endowed with it can perceive another's hidden thoughts even when they try to hide them. A glance or a tone of voice is enough for them to discern joy, sorrow, anxiety, or unrest. But what sets them apart is that they never use this gift to judge or control. Their intuition is always directed toward aid, protection, and guidance. Imagine facing a crossroads in life, uncertain which way to turn. Reason may present endless arguments, but deep within you a gentle whisper says, "Take this path." That is intuition, the gift heaven and Buddha bestow upon everyone, though not all are quiet enough to hear it. The chosen ones, awakened in spirit, know how to cherish and cultivate this intuition. It is no magic trick, but a profound understanding, a harmony, and total trust in one's connection to the universe. As the ancients said, those with intuition are like captains with a compass. No storm can steer them off course. Truly, Exceptionally acute intuition is more than a power, it is a sacred lamp illuminating the path for those chosen by heaven and Buddha to fulfill their great mission. 2. Healing ability. Healing ability is a sacred gift that only those chosen by heaven and Buddha can fully possess. It is not merely the power to cure physical ailments, but a supernatural force that soothes wounds of the soul, wounds no medicine or medical treatment can touch. A person with healing ability is like a cool spring in a parched desert. Their presence, even for a moment, can bring profound peace, as if the hearts weighed down by suffering suddenly feel unburdened. A gentle word, a light touch, or even their silent presence wields a miraculous power that dispels the deepest gloom. An ancient story tells of the sixth patriarch Huai-Ning of Chan Buddhism. He had no medical training and used no prescribed therapies, yet people sought him not for bodily healing but to find peace of mind. One day, a distraught man came to Huai-Ning, his spirit crushed by the recent loss of his dearest loved one. He said, "Master, my heart feels like a stone pressing down on me. I cannot eat or sleep. Life seems meaningless." Huai-Ning was silent for a while, then said softly, "Sit and close your eyes. Listen to your breath." The man did as directed, and Huai-Ning simply sat beside him without another word. After some time, the man felt a lightness in his soul. The pain that had crashed like wild waves within him subsided. When he opened his eyes, he asked, "Master, how did your silence heal me?" Huai-Ning smiled and replied, "I did nothing. Peace has always been within you. I merely helped you see it." This story illustrates the spiritual healing power of the truly gifted. They need not perform grand gestures or complex rituals. Their own serene, compassionate energy is enough to bring relief to others. In Buddhist lore, the Buddha himself demonstrated miraculous healing. Once a woman named Packer, who had lost her husband, children, and parents in quick succession, came to him in utter despair, wandering like one mad with grief. She wept uncontrollably at his feet. The Buddha listened without interruption, and when she had poured out her sorrow, he said gently, "Your suffering arises from impermanence. All that we love in this world must leave us sooner or later, yet this pain is but a drop in the ocean. When you realize this truth, your heart will be healed." His words were like a breeze of fresh air to her shattered spirit. Gradually, Packer found comfort and went on to become one of his most devoted disciples. Those with healing ability do more than provide temporary relief. They help others transform their understanding of suffering, enabling them to overcome life's challenges from within. They are neither doctors nor sorcerers, yet in some mysterious way, they touch the deepest parts of the soul where the greatest pains reside. Recall a time when you met someone whose mere presence made you feel lighter, as if your worries had melted away. That is the mark of a healer. They carry compassion in their hearts and radiate peace, enfolding the wounded in their gentle energy. The ancients said, "One who bears the heart of compassion carries an endless spring of healing." They never use their power to dominate, but to save those drowning in sorrow. This healing ability, like all the other powers, is not for show. It exists to serve humanity, to lessen the suffering in the world. To encounter such a person is to glimpse a guiding torch lighting the path through life's darkest trials. 3. The power to attract and inspire others. The power to attract and inspire others is a special gift, a rare endowment reserved only for those chosen by heaven and Buddha. Yet it is not a force tied to authority or ambition. They need not strive to conquer hearts, nor employ flowery rhetoric or psychological manipulation. Their magnetism springs from sincerity, inner stillness, and the radiant flame within their souls, a light that never dims, even in life's fiercest storms. Those who possess this power are like lighthouses that call no one aloud, yet guide lost ships across a fog-bound sea. They draw people in not by outward splendor, but by their inner calm and quiet strength. With them, every word, every gesture, even a moment of silence carries contagious energy. They need not issue commands or press others. People willingly listen and follow because they sense authenticity, safety, and an energy that soothes every anxious heart. An ancient tale tells of Confucius, one of humanity's greatest teachers. He never imposed his knowledge on others nor claimed to hold absolute truth. Instead, he lived a life of modest virtue and profound simplicity. One day, as he and his disciples traveled through a region, an elderly farmer caught sight of him from afar. Though they had never met, the farmer rushed forward, knelt on the roadside, and begged, "Great sage, may I follow you? I see your light, and I know you will guide me on the right path." Confucius neither refused nor encouraged. He simply smiled and said, "I am not the light, I merely hold up a mirror so you can see the light within yourself." From that moment on, the farmer became one of his most loyal disciples, not out of coercion, but because he recognized in Confucius a depth of wisdom and moral integrity he longed to emulate. Similarly, in Buddhist scriptures there is a story of the young disciple Rahula, the Buddha's son. Eager to learn, yet still harboring ambition, Rahula asked the Buddha, "How can I become a person whom everyone respects and follows?" The Buddha paused beside a roadside tree, picked up a small bowl, filled it with water from a nearby spring, and set it on the ground. "Look at the water in the bowl," he said. "It reflects clearly only when it is calm. If you wish others to listen to and respect you, first you must quiet your mind like this still water. When your mind is pure, people will naturally come to behold themselves in it." From that teaching, Rahula understood that true leadership springs not from external authority, but from inner cultivation. When one becomes a clear mirror, others naturally learn and follow. A modern example is Mahatma Gandhi. He was neither a gifted orator nor a powerful general, yet he led millions of Indians to independence through sincerity, humility, and compassion. Gandhi lived exactly what he preached: nonviolence and honesty. People respected and followed him not because he commanded them, but because they saw in him a living embodiment of his ideals. Yet the power to attract and inspire is not merely a gift, but also a solemn responsibility. Its bearer must guide others along the right path, for one who leads astray can cause countless souls to wander. Therefore, the chosen must keep their own minds pure, act for the common good, and never let ego interfere. As the ancients warned, be a teacher for a day, but a model for a lifetime. This reminds us that a true leader not only imparts knowledge or points the way, but lives so that every action becomes a lesson. The power to attract and inspire is a subtle yet profound strength. Those endowed with it are beacons illuminating the way, helping lost hearts find direction in darkness. Above all, they do not merely shine their own light, but help others discover the light within themselves, so each person may illuminate their own path. As the Buddha taught, "My light can show the road, but you yourself must walk it." 4. The gift of discernment between good and evil. The gift of discerning good from evil is a special ability that only those chosen by heaven and Buddha can possess in its deepest form. To them, virtue and wrongdoing cannot be hidden even when evil hides beneath a mask of righteousness or the virtuous stray from the right path. They see through every facade, not only observing outward deeds, but perceiving the hidden intentions deep within the heart. Yet what truly sets them apart is not simply the ability to distinguish good from evil, but how they respond. They do not judge or punish. Rather, they use understanding to illuminate the way for others, knowing that every soul follows its own journey, and that even the most lost can return to goodness with a single spark of light. In Buddhist thought, good and evil are not absolute opposites, but two sides of a coin. The Buddha taught that every harmful act springs from ignorance and suffering. When someone does evil, they harm others but also torment themselves in darkness. A classic example is Devdatta, the Buddha's cousin, who sought to destroy the Sangha out of jealousy. He plotted against the Buddha 7 times, once even rolling a boulder down a hill to kill him, but failed. When Devdatta fell gravely ill, those around him urged the Buddha to punish him. Instead, the Buddha intervened, saying, "The truly unfortunate one is not the sinner but the sufferer, for he is blinded by pain and ambition. He cannot see the right path, yet one day the light will find him." When Devdatta finally realized his mistakes and sought forgiveness, the Buddha did not reproach him but received him compassionately, allowing him to pass into peace. This forgiveness not only saved his soul but proved that even the worst offender can rediscover goodness. Those with profound discernment view life through a different lens. They hear more than words and see more than actions. They sense the motivations and impulses beneath. Yet they never wield this ability to shame or destroy. Instead, they lead with compassion, understanding that even in the densest darkness there remains a flicker of light. An ancient story of the sage Zhuangzi illustrates this. A notorious bandit once approached him, bearing precious gifts and confessing, "You are wise. I know my deeds are wrong, but this was the only way I knew to survive. Please accept this gift as apology for my sins." Zhuangzi refused the gift but did not condemn the bandit. Looking him in the eye, he said, "I do not need your gift, but you possess a greater treasure. You have recognized your own fault. That treasure is your heart. Use it to begin anew." Moved, the bandit abandoned his life of crime and sought honest means to live. Those gifted with moral discernment carry a profound philosophy. To hate evil is to deepen darkness, but to pity the lost and offer understanding is to help them find the light. Their mission is not to expose wrongdoing, but to help each soul recognize the good within itself and thus choose a better path. 5. Exceptional spiritual resilience. Exceptional spiritual resilience is among the highest powers possessed by those chosen by heaven and Buddha. It is not a strength measured by material or physical criteria. It does not lie in bulging muscles, nor in worldly power or wealth, but in the steadfastness and endurance of the soul aflame that burns ever brighter in one's heart, regardless of life's fiercest storms. A person endowed with this strength is like an ancient tree standing tall against the wind and rain. No matter how fierce the gale or how torrential the downpour, their roots sink deep into the earth, never to be uprooted. This resilience not only enables them to overcome adversity, but also becomes a spiritual anchor for those around them. When others lose their way, when spirits falter and panic sets in, they turn to these steadfast souls to draw renewed courage, strength born of suffering and trial. An old tale tells of Niulong, an orphan farmer who eked out a living by plowing fields. Though his life was full of hardship, he never complained. Every day he worked diligently with an honest heart and unwavering determination. The villagers used to say, "Niulong is not physically strong, but his spirit cannot be broken." Thanks to that inner strength, he overcame innumerable trials and at last met Jinu, the weaver maiden who brought happiness into his life. Even when separated by the Milky Way, a cruel twist of fate, they endured with patience and faith, trusting that true love would one day be rewarded. Their perseverance moved heaven and earth, allowing them to reunite once a year on the Chishi Bridge. This story teaches us that spiritual resilience is not the absence of pain or loss, but the capacity to endure and transcend them. Those who possess exceptional resilience refuse to be defeated by hardship. They view each challenge as an opportunity to forge courage and willpower. Another clear example is the Buddha himself. Before his awakening, he underwent austere ascetic practices, facing temptation, physical suffering, and even self-doubt. On his final night under the Bodhi tree, the Lord of Illusions appeared, conjuring terrifying visions to break his resolve. Yet the Buddha remained unwavering in his vow not to rise until truth was realized. Through indomitable spiritual strength, he overcame every trial and attained enlightenment, bringing the light of wisdom and compassion to all beings. Those with superior spiritual resilience stand firm not only in their own trials, but also serve as pillars of support for others. When someone is engulfed in suffering or loses hope, they emerge to help that person reclaim faith and aspiration. A Zen story tells of an elderly monk and his troubled disciple. The young disciple came to him in turmoil, overwhelmed by grief after losing a loved one. Between sobs, he said, "Teacher, I cannot bear this pain. It feels as if my heart is being crushed." The old monk silently handed him a steaming cup of tea and asked, "Do you feel its heat?" The disciple nodded. The monk continued, "If you focus only on the heat, you grow afraid and want to abandon the cup. But if you hold it patiently, you adapt. So it is with your pain. Do not flee from it. Let it be, and you will learn to endure and eventually transcend it." Those gifted with extraordinary resilience are not fearless, but rather masters of facing fear and refusing to let it dominate them. They understand that life's trials and losses are inevitable. Each hardship is a chance to temper the spirit and grow stronger. As the ancients put it, the more jade is polished, the brighter it becomes. The more gold is refined, the purer it shines. Through life's challenges, spiritual strength is honed and made unbreakable. When they overcome, their unwavering spirit becomes a beacon for those lost in darkness. Exceptional spiritual resilience is an enduring energy that enables human beings to confront and surmount every trial. Those who possess this power not only sustain their own souls, but also radiate courage and steadfastness to others. Like a great tree, they not only withstand storms, but also shelter those who seek refuge, becoming an unshakable anchor in every season of life. 6. Profound spiritual connection. Profound spiritual connection is a special power, a sacred sign carried by those chosen by heaven and Buddha. They seem to exist not only in the physical world, but also within an invisible realm where the universe's mysteries unfold. Their minds act as open doors to a higher energy source where transcendent wisdom and spiritual light are ever present. Those who possess this ability often receive messages from the unseen, perhaps from wise masters, enlightened spirits, or even directly from heaven and Buddha. These messages are not eerie whispers, but profound insights that transcend time, guiding them to offer sound counsel or to take actions of vast benefit. They frequently sense they are never truly alone. Whatever the circumstances, they feel guided by a higher power. They perceive the universe's presence in every moment, every breath, and every event unfolding around them. An ancient tale tells of the seer Lao Ji, who lived in a small village. Locals claimed he could see the future, but Lao Ji humbly replied, "I see nothing. I only listen to what heaven and earth are saying." During a severe drought, when villagers despaired, Lao Ji pointed to a barren patch near the forest and instructed, "Dig a well there, and water will appear." Though skeptical, the villagers obeyed, and to their relief, a spring gushed forth, saving the entire community. When asked how he knew, Lao Ji said simply, "The land spoke to me. You only need to learn to listen." In Buddhism, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva exemplifies this profound connection. With boundless compassion, Avalokiteshvara hears the cries of all beings, whether in the human realm or in hell, and comes swiftly to aid them. When a disciple asked how Avalokiteshvara could hear countless calls at once, the Buddha explained, "Her mind is united with all beings. She does not hear with ordinary ears, but with a heart of compassion, where every cry becomes one." Those deeply connected to the spiritual realm not only receive guidance for themselves, but are also able to convey profound wisdom to others. Their counsel transcends time and space, offering solace and direction to anyone who seeks it. 7. Clear awareness of a special mission. A clear awareness of who they are and the special mission they carry in life is the supreme power of those chosen by heaven and Buddha. They do not wander through life in confusion or wonder about their purpose. From youth or through profound experience, they recognize they were born for a specific reason. This awareness grants them immense spiritual strength, enabling them to remain steadfast on their path regardless of trials or temptations. Their mission is the lighthouse illuminating their lives. Even without knowing every detail ahead, they are certain of their ultimate destination. Thus, every action and decision they make is directed toward fulfilling the mission entrusted to them by the universe. While ordinary people ask, "What is my purpose in life?" the chosen do not concern themselves with that question. They do not seek material success or personal happiness. Instead, they ask, "How can I serve?" The most powerful example is the Buddha's own journey. He renounced wealth and status to seek the truth that would free beings from suffering. After attaining enlightenment under the Bodhi tree, he never doubted his path again and spent his life teaching for the sake of saving all beings. The story of India's Emperor Ashoka also illustrates this. Once a ruthless ruler, he experienced a profound transformation after the Kalinga War, witnessing immense suffering. He became a compassionate sovereign, spreading the Dharma and building peace across his realm. He realized that his true mission was not conquest by force, but bringing peace and prosperity. Those who clearly perceive their mission do not live for themselves, but to give. They do not ask, "What do I gain?" but continually ask, "What can I do to help the world?" It is this unconditional dedication that makes their lives a precious lesson and leaves a lasting legacy in the world. 8. Boundless compassion. Boundless compassion is the pinnacle of qualities in those chosen by heaven and Buddha. It is not the ordinary pity we reserve for loved ones, but unconditional love that transcends all boundaries of relationship, status, or past deeds. They love all beings, friends and strangers alike, even those who have harmed them. The power of boundless compassion lies in its ability not only to bring peace to themselves, but also to transform others' suffering and hatred, guiding all toward harmony and tranquility. Compassion is more than mere mercy. It is love paired with deep understanding of suffering. Those with boundless compassion not only see others' pain, but also understand its root causes. This understanding prevents judgment and instead brings empathy and love. As the ancients said, "Love others as you love yourself." They do not discriminate based on worthiness. They know every being struggles with their own pain, and even the worst offender is simply lost, blinded by ignorance and unhealed wounds. The clearest illustration of compassion's power is the story of the Buddha and the bandit Agulimla. Agulimla was infamous for murdering hundreds and wearing their severed fingers as a necklace, a symbol of his brutality. The region lived in fear. No one dared confront him. Yet when the Buddha heard of Agulimla, he went to meet him. Standing calmly in the forest, he said, "Agulimla, I have stopped harming others. Only you continue to sow suffering. When will you stop?" Those words pierced Agulimla's dark heart. He awakened, dropped his weapon, and begged to follow the Buddha's path. From cold-blooded killer, he became a compassionate monk who spent his life helping others. The Buddha's compassion not only saved him from evil but enabled his complete transformation and brought peace to the surrounding land. Those with boundless compassion can love even those who have wounded them. They know hatred only breeds more suffering, and the only way to break the cycle of vengeance is through compassion toward one's enemies. An example from Emperor Lai Tai of Vietnam illustrates this. As a youth, he was mistreated and scorned, but upon ascending the throne, he chose not to punish those who wronged him. Instead, he forgave them and gave them opportunities for a better life. When asked why he spared them, he said, "If I retaliate, I become as they are. But if I forgive, I save them and myself from hatred." His compassion helped him build a strong, peaceful dynasty and left a revered legacy. Those endowed with boundless compassion not only heal others but can transform suffering into peace and harmony. They are like cool streams nourishing parched lands, reviving life and joy. They understand that love is the greatest force in the universe, for only love can soothe the deepest pain and heal hearts filled with anger and resentment. Their compassion makes them beacons guiding lost souls back to themselves. As the ancients taught, if you repay hatred with hatred, hatred only grows. If you repay hatred with compassion, it will dissolve. This is not just advice but profound truth. Those who meet hatred with compassion not only free themselves from suffering but also help transform the world into a realm of peace and love. Their mission of compassion extends beyond loved ones to the poor, the grieving, and anyone in pain. Each compassionate act is a drop in an ocean of love together. They have the power to wash away all sorrow and enmity. Boundless compassion is not merely a quality but the greatest power of those chosen by heaven and Buddha. They never cease to love, forgive, and shine the light of compassion upon all beings. It is this love that unlocks the power to reconcile enmity and bring harmony and peace to the world.